Thank you for joining us on Straight Outta Savannah. My guest, Alli Arney, is with me, and I am super excited that she's come to join me. So, Alli, share with the people who you are and where you are going.
Sure. So I'm Alli. I have been in Nashville for the last, 17, 18 years. And I am an HR professional. I have my own consulting business focused on career strategy and interview preparation, resume writing, things like that. And it's my way to help build people's confidence in themselves so they can pursue whatever field they desire, whatever dreams they have from a career standpoint. I also have a homestead, so lots of chickens. I've got 3 daughters, a wonderful husband, and a few other business ventures, but they all are just dreams and passions that we've had for a long time that we're excited to pursue and continue to see where those things go and give us options as a family to spend as much time as we can together.
Yes, that is perfect. That is perfect. So what brought you to that place where you decided that, you wanted to pursue those ventures and businesses and homestead?
Sure. So I was to back up a little bit, I got a degree in psychology. So I've always been passionate about people and the mind. After graduation, I was going to pursue a master's in psychology, but was snagged by a friend's mom to come help her start an HR company. And so I did that instead. And here I am all these years later, still in HR by accident. So that kind of happened by accident, but I was in a recruiting agency. It was very high stress, very fast paced, lots of hours. It was lucrative, but it just wasn't worth it for my family, for me to be so tied up with that anymore. And my husband and I had joined a business mentorship type of team that spoke a lot of success principles into us. And they started speaking about the power of the spoken word and igniting dreams in us. And so as a family, we sat down and really figured out what our dreams were. And so it was about 8 years ago, my husband and I figured out our dream. He grew up farming. I always grew up near the country, but not in the country per se, and always had a connection to it. I always wanted to be out in nature and just using what God has given us for herbs and plants and medicine and all of those things. I geek out a little bit over all of that. So we always wanted the natural life. And so from there, we designed the dream for Buffalo Diamond Ranch. And for us, if you don't mind, I'll share what that name means, because it really
I do. Yes.
comes from a place of where our hearts are. So a buffalo, if you don't know, they will turn and face a storm to get through it quicker.
Oh,
where cattle and all other animals, they will run away from the storm, but the storm catches up to them, and their agony is actually prolonged because they get caught in the storm trying to get away from it. And diamonds, of course, are forged under extreme pressure and heat, right? And something dirty that turns into something beautiful. So this concept of buffalo diamond came to us as the image of individuals and as a family that we really claim as our identity, because we are buffalo that will turn and face the storm, and we will come out on the other side as beautiful gems under pressure and heat every time. And so it kind of became our family mantra to just keep pushing through things. And so we identified that we wanted a ranch, that we would name it Buffalo Diamond Ranch and have this homestead life. And since then, all of our businesses have taken on the same name. So I have Buffalo Diamond Consulting. We had a marketing firm for a while. We had some other things too. And so it's always been Buffalo Diamond for us. And so we took the power of the spoken word and we grew this image, and we've been able to overcome a lot over the years, probably more than we wanted to.
Yeah. It usually does work out that way, right?
100%. But all of that now, 8 years later, we actually bought our property this year. We were able to buy Buffalo Diamond Ranch. We've got great signs up, and that was really exciting for us. So our goal is just to continue to build that life that our family wants and give our kids a safe haven and a place to go. And that mentality can go with them whenever they move on into their own lives. So
yes, that is powerful. So you got goats and chickens and ducks and things?
We have a lot of chickens. We have 27 chickens.
Oh, wow.
We have 5 turkeys and a couple of rabbits. But since we just got started, we don't have the hogs and the cows and the goats yet. That'll be next year, but we're getting all of the pens set up, the garden set up, the greenhouse, everything like that. So
Oh, that's phenomenal. Oh my God, I cannot wait. I have to visit.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's up in the mountains, so it's a beautiful view and rolling hills and lots of greenery. We love it.
God, that is amazing. I love how you got together as a family and used the spoken word, because here's the thing, I realized that, we were created in God's image, so that means that we are supposed to be creators. And so many times, we live beneath our means because we are supposed to create, what we desire using our words. And so to me, that was like powerful, just because you got your family on board with that. Because many times it's like the woman is on board or the man's on board, but never always together. And then bringing your kids, that's powerful.
It's got to be that unity, that's what makes it work. I really believe that. And something that we learned along the way through all of our reading and all of our studying is that what you put in, you have to protect. So we learned a lot about our sense gates, what you look at, what you listen to, what you speak, what you hear, what you're told. All of those things really play into your ability to believe that you will accomplish what you have set out to do. Yes. And so we got to a point, a lot of people called us radical, but it worked. So I guess I'm the one laughing now, but we got to the point where we would not surround ourselves with people who spoke a certain way. We would ask them not to speak to us or not to speak to us about certain topics because we weren't going to hear their negativity. As actually, when we got radical was when our middle daughter, then youngest, she was about 6. She was learning to read, and we had family reading time, and she was sitting there, and I could just kind of tell maybe she wasn't doing quite what she should be doing. So I asked her what the story was about, and she started telling me, but as I looked at the book, it wasn't lining up. I'm like, you're making a story based on the pictures.
Man, that's awesome. An imagination, right?
That she has. But I asked her, I said, why aren't you reading what the words say? Why aren't you reading the story? And she said, I can't read.
Oh, wow.
And she can. She knows how. She knew how at that time. But it was a dagger to my mama heart because I knew that someone had told her that. She had gotten that from somewhere. And so that day we sat down as a family. We made a list of words that we don't say. Can't, don't, tired, yeah, tired, luck, just a lot of things that we don't, that's not how we believe.
Yes.
And we refused to say that. And so we made a quarter system. We had a jar of quarters and an empty jar, and there was $10 worth of quarters in one jar. And every time one of us said try, or one of those words that was on our list that we decided not to say, you would have to take that quarter and put it in the other jar. So it became this kind of joke in our family. Oh, that's a quarter. Oh, mom, you said try, that's a quarter.
Oh, that's good.
And whatever was left in the first jar, we got to spend as a family on a new game or ice cream or whatever at the end of each week. But what we realized as parents is that we were the ones spending the most quarters. They caught on far faster than we did, but it just made us so aware of our speech, and it bred this level of intentionality into our family. And now, our girls are 16, 13, and now we have a 4-year-old as well. And it's amazing to hear them say things like, well, I don't prefer that. Or instead of, I don't want, because that's just not grateful. And so we picked the mindset that we wanted our family to have. We picked the attitude that we wanted our words to portray, and we really got radical with it, and it made a huge difference.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I love to hear that, because the thing is we have to direct the next generation, because if we don't, and doing it that young, wow, that means to me, you're setting them up for an amazing life.
We hope so. Fear was one of those things that was on our list as well. So we don't speak the word fear in our household. We don't, in any form, afraid, scared, fear.
Right. Because there's so many words, right?
So much. I grew up in a very fear-based household where everything was, oh, don't go out after dark, somebody will kidnap you. It was always worst case scenario. And because my parents had experienced some worst case scenarios, that was their mentality. But I grew up really with this fear-based mentality. Everything was was because I was afraid I didn't do so many things. And my husband's the exact opposite. Thank goodness. So that was at the top of our list. We have bred fear out of our family, and it's full of
Yes.
confidence. And it was interesting. Our 3-year-old, well, our 4-year-old was 3 at the time. And we don't do a lot of TV, but she had watched Moana or something. And she said, "What does the word fear mean?" And I realized she was 4, almost 4, and didn't know what that word was. And
That's
so
amazing.
it was amazing. And so we explained it. And she said, "Is that something that I have? Is that something I feel?" And we explained, you might think you do, but you have the power to control that. And you can
Yes.
turn that into energy. They're just butterflies telling you you're about to do something great. And
Yes.
so it's been really interesting. We're not better than by any means, but it's interesting to see how much our kids go and accomplish and do. And we as
Yes.
a family go and do all of these adventures that we get to live because we've taken the negative and the fear out of things and
Yes.
claimed our own victories. And we're just really passionate about that.
Yes. It sounds like you set not only yourself free, but your family.
100%.
It's like you change whatever trajectory it used to be. You changed it. You shifted. And that is, I love to hear that, because there's so many people that, like, I heard this thing. I was watching this movie, and it was something about Katrina. So it was a while ago, but they were talking about, this kid was on there, and he said something like, couldn't have been more than about 12. "I was born here and I'm going to die here." And I thought, whoa, why would you, why?
Right.
Why are you at 12 years old talking about you going to die here?
Right.
You
You've
know,
already determined you'll go nowhere.
Exactly. And I'm like, wow. And it hit me, because I thought, there are so many people just like that. I hear it, my mama was born here and I was born here. My mama died here and I'm gonna die here. And I'm like, yeah, that's not even something that I think about.
Nope. And if you do, at least put it out there that you may come back, but you'll go out first. There's so much in the world to see and people to meet and different personalities,
Yes.
cultures, and so much to live and enjoy,
Yes.
Go and do
Yes.
first. And if you choose to come back, awesome, but there's no reason
Yes.
to set that out yet.
But explore.
Yes, exactly.
Give yourself the option that, if you, like my son wanted to go to California. So he had bought this Scooby and Shaggy van. It really was. It was that Volkswagen van, and he fixed it up and kitted it out and put a little bed in it and everything, so he could travel across the country and sleep in it. And it was just something he wanted to do, and so he did it. Drove out to California, went out there, worked a little bit, different things. Worked on a pot farm, just different stuff. But it was something that he wanted to do. And I was so proud of him. A lot of people were like, "Oh, your sons are over going to California and this and that," and just all this fear. But I never encouraged fear in my children, ever.
No.
It just wasn't something, and nobody told me, because I was a young mom. Nobody told me, but I just felt that. And I was like, I don't want them to feel that, in that way, And I think, what do you think about a healthy level of fear? What do you think about that?
So in our house, we phrase it as respect.
Okay.
We
like
say
that.
we fear nothing, but we respect every man and situation. So we
Yes.
understand that there may be dangers. We understand that there may be situations that could cause harm or things that you need to be aware of. We definitely teach, having 3 daughters, we work a lot with situational awareness
Yes.
and safety and things of that nature, but we choose to overcome everything with a confidence. So for me, I'm 5'1", I'm a fairly petite female. So, I've lived a lot of my life, worried about what would happen if I was out too late, or if I was here by myself, or these things, because that's what had been bred into me.
Yes.
And so to overcome that, I learned self-defense in a couple different ways. And so now I replace that fear with a confidence, because now I feel confident that I can handle a situation, rather than the root of my fear was that I didn't know how to handle myself in that situation.
Yes. Yes.
So by respecting what can happen, you figure out where the lack of confidence is, and then we
Yes.
choose to overcome and correct by building a confidence in whatever that lack is there.
Oh man, that's powerful. That is powerful. You could teach a class on that alone, especially for kids.
Yes.
Because so many people, I mean, I don't know, I don't know what people are teaching their kids now, because I'm thinking, sometimes I see kids and I'm like, he should be able to do that, by himself. I mean, I only took my 10-year-old to the bathroom with me because he was a little 10. I'm 5 feet tall. So my son, he's a little 10, at that time. He was a little thing because he was one of those kids that he would grow about every 2 or 3 years, like, 3 or 4 sizes, in 2 or 3 years, but then he wouldn't grow any, in between. So that was kind of helpful. But when he was a little 10, so I would take him to the bathroom with me when he was 10, just because, I didn't want any pedophile or anybody to, mess with him in the men's bathroom, but if he was a bigger boy, I might not have taken him in the bathroom with me. You know what I'm saying? Yep. But because of, his size, because he was, he was a short little thing and he was slim, real slim. So I was like, nah, I'm not risking that. You know what I mean? But other than that, it's like, no, you allow them to, go and do, with some guidance, right?
Sure. And there are times, I think, especially in children, where they have a natural concern, they hit certain developmental leaps and they start to, ew bugs or ew this or ew that. Right?
Yes.
And it's not always a popular opinion, but in our house, you try it once. So, if you don't like it after that, that's fine, but you need to see that you can do it. And so it started with worms for my little one. She was very grossed out by worms, and then she was holding them, and now she bug hunts 2 to 3 hours of her day every day. So, it's silly little things, but what we're breeding.
That is so cool.
It is really funny. But when you breed that into them, when they get to that point where they want to travel across country in a Scooby van, they will do it because try it once. Let's make sure that we like it. Now, caveat, obviously, we put parameters on what we try once, right?
Oh, yes, yes.
That's not
sure.
everything in life.
No,
but
we're not trying, crazy stuff. We're not, I want to do a zip line, but eventually I'll get my nerve up.
Yeah, you can do it. I believe in you.
Ooh, it's like I thought about it, and it's like, because I even thought about like skydiving, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And then I was like, I don't know. And I've never skied. So I was like, I would like to do that, My husband told me, he'll watch me.
Make sure you get to the bottom.
That's what he said. He goes, I'll ride up on the thing with you. He goes, and I'll watch you. So, he's a little bit older than I am. So he was like, he said, it's rough. He said, the older you get, it gets rough if you break a hip or knee.
That's one of those respect situations. I respect that this may not turn out well.
It's like, we're going to put some respect on that, and it's okay. That is so awesome. Funny. Oh my God. So, in your business, who is it that you focus on helping, or I don't know, do you have an ideal client?
Yeah. So my ideal client is someone transitioning careers. So whether that is a new industry or, maybe they haven't been in the workforce for a little while and trying to get back into that, or maybe just looking for that next promotion, moving up in their career, new direction. I'm here to help those types of people. And majority of the time, what I find in those conversations is that it all boils down to what they're telling themselves and what they've been told and what they're afraid of. And so, for any of my clients, be prepared to work on yourself a little bit because I'm going to recommend some things like that. But I really enjoy helping people identify their strengths and just remove that fear blocker and help them see that they can go and do what they want to do. I'm also a straight shooter. If it's not the best path for you to follow first, I will be able to tell you that. But I also, believe that if you want to make a transition, 90% of the time, there are skill sets that you can align and make that transition.
Yes.
But it's
Yeah.
that confidence that you have to commit to. So I'm very passionate about helping people just overcome that.
That's awesome, because the thing is you're so right in that with the words, because you're right. Some of the people that I've worked with, it's like the first thing I do is say, hey, what are you saying to yourself about yourself?
Right.
What are the words that you're speaking to you?
Yes.
Because I dove deep into like affirmations and stuff. And I used to, when I first started, I was like, this is bullshit. And then I said, something in me said, no, just keep doing it, and keep saying and keep speaking, And so I did. And then I started studying Neville Goddard and Florence Scovel Shinn and some of those. And I was like, you know what? They're so right.
Yes.
And so I started using that and doing, just in my life. And I was like, okay. And of course, when I first started doing it, and I was like, it's not working, because all kinds of stuff started falling off. And so, of course, now I know that is the process.
Yes.
That when you start speaking, the word and being a creator over your own life and situation and circumstances and stuff, then, stuff just starts falling off that, doesn't serve you anymore.
Yep.
But you don't realize that at that time, because it just looks like stuff is just being taken from you.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because it's so true. I think a lot of times with the spoken word, and I overcame this too and still work on it, but you think, well, I said it, that's what I want, so that
Yep.
I should get that in entirety tomorrow. But you're not going to see all of the things that happen in order to get you there. It took us 8 years to get that farm, multiple houses that we rented, finances that we had to rebudget, new jobs that we had to get into, and things that we had to get rid of, and all of these things.
Yes.
That wasn't quite the direct path that I thought it was going to be.
You didn't quite speak it that way?
Not quite, wasn't that specific. So, but it's a process. And you hear the phrase all the time, trust the process, but especially with spoken word and affirmations, you're rebuilding something, you're molding your own brain. Neuroplasticity it's the ability for your brain to reimagine itself, and negativity does that, positivity does that, but you have the power to change that. And so especially with affirmations, we're huge on that. Write them. I think the most helpful thing is to write them down, figure out what you want to claim for yourself, put it on your mirror, and say those affirmations out loud in your mirror every day. 21 days to create a habit. And I guarantee you by 3 or 4 days, you start to feel the difference. And it's your character traits that you want to claim. It's your finances you want to claim. It's your career that you want to claim, your image,
it's my house,
reputation, 100%. It's all of those things, but you have to know it's going to not probably be the direct path there.
Right. It's like, but when you trust the process, then you're trusting, and it's okay. It's like, it's okay.
Yes.
It's like, it's okay. It's like you lean into it. And you say, okay, I can see. And then the other thing I think is best, especially when you first start, is just not to look at stuff so hard.
Yes.
Because you're getting away from focusing on the outcome, just holding tight to this outcome. Oh, it's got to be this house. It's got to be that place. It's got to be, this car, that kind of stuff. When if you're just free with it, then you can, receive whatever it is for your highest and best, that you really did speak, right?
100%.
So, I'm telling you, I have been, So this year has been something, because I have my Kia is 10 years old. It was 10 years old in May. My dad just called me and was like, well, how's your car doing? I was like, my car is good. I didn't have any major problems out of that car in those 10 years. So my husband was driving it to work, and it stopped on the side of the highway. So he called me. He's like, baby, stop. I said, okay. So he called, and so I went over there, and I sat and waited for him about an hour for the guy to come and tow it. So we towed it to the dealership, and the dealership called and said, hey, we don't have time to look at it. It'll be a few days. We're like, whatever, fine. So then they called back. I was at work. My husband called me and he said, you want the good news or the bad news? I said, just give it all to me. So he said, well, the engine seized and they're going to call us back and let us know, what we can do or what they can do or whatever. I said, okay. And right at that moment, I said, she's going to call us back and she's going to say, we're going to repair this car at no cost to you. Do you know that is exactly what she said when she called back? So we got a new engine, a new starter, and a new battery for the cost of the battery.
That's amazing.
That's manifestation.
It is for sure. And I think with manifestation, it could be that you speak the price, right? You say a statement just like that. But it could be when you say that your car is still good and runs like new, it's because it was meant for you to get a new one. So, sometimes the situations don't play out quite like we want. And it can be so easy to let the enemy make us feel defeated. What's the point of speaking these things when I'm not given these blessings anyway? And I went through such a season of that. I'm sure you have been there too.
Oh, yes. Girl, yes. You know it.
And it's that decision to keep manifesting. When you feel like it's not manifesting until it does, if that makes sense. Because
because what happens, you start speaking that thing, right? And then you look around and you see craziness around you. Oh my God, like when I first started on this journey, I started speaking this thing. I got fired from my damn job. I had never been fired in my life. I've quit many jobs. I'm not a person, I can't. Once they start getting annoying, I gotta go. Yep. So I got fired and I was like, God, how does this work?
Right.
It's like, how does this work? But I learned a lot through all of that process. And that's when I knew, I was like, okay, things need to fall away. Because I didn't like that job anyway.
Right.
And I was actually looking for another one, but I didn't look fast enough. I was like, okay, and then it was wild because I was out of work that time for like 2 months. And in that time, I have, of course, put many applications, just millions of applications. And so finally, after 2 months, I got a part-time job that it was part-time because they didn't want to, pay for benefits. But I worked full-time hours, one of those. And then one of the jobs that I applied for that I was wanting and waiting for finally called me. I was like, okay, all right. But, in that middle section, but in the middle, I think about it now, I still kept speaking. Even though it looked crazy as shit. But I still kept speaking. I was like, no, I'm not going to give up. I was like, I'm not going to give up. I'm like Beyonce says, I'm a survivor. That's right. I'm not going to give up.
I love it.
Oh God, I'm telling you. So
it's a journey.
Right? It is a journey. And that is, to me, that's like the greatest thing. You know what I mean? Because now I feel more relaxed on the journey because, because I used to have all this anxiety and stuff about things, especially, being out there, and it was just me at that time. And I got married at 19 years old. So I was used to always being married, and that was the thing, and so being out there all alone, I was like, oh my God, I mean, not alone, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, so what's next? And that was kind of, what brought me on this journey, this path, because I was like, something's good. I know I was called for a reason out here to do something for some reason for somebody, But okay, so this has been so much fun. What I want you to do now is share how the people can connect with you.
Sure. So I can be found on LinkedIn, Alli Arney, ALLIARNEY. You can also find me on my website, buffalodiamondconsulting.com. And you can email me at Alli, ALLI, at buffalodiamondconsulting.com too, either for career services or just to chat a little bit about manifestation as well, because I'm always happy to be a resource if I can help share my journey in any way. And I hope that everyone
Yes.
sees that this is not I'm not speaking today from a place of arrival. I still have a lot left on my journey, but it's the things that have gotten me this far through some really tough life situations. And I know that those things can help you too. And I just pray that everyone is able to look at themselves in the mirror today and speak an affirmation
Yes.
and really claim a new future for themselves, because there's a lot out there to go and get.
Yes, absolutely. And that is the key. And sorry, I had the alarm on and I didn't want it to ring. So I was like, let me stop it now. Because you see, this conversation is so amazing. We could go probably another hour.
Okay. Very kindred spirits.
For sure. I'm like, oh my God, this has been amazing. So reach out to Alli if you are in need of those type of services, because she's amazing, especially if you want HR consulting or even manifesting, correct?
Correct. Yes. I'd be
Yes,
happy.
that is, oh, that's amazing. So I am super excited and so glad that you joined me today on Straight Out of Savannah, because I have been, I think I follow you on LinkedIn.
So yeah.
I was trying to think, I was like, I always wonder, where people find me and stuff like that, because I try to post and say, I have this show and I would love to interview people that are changing the planet and stuff like that. So, I'm like, okay, where do we meet?
Well, thank you so much for finding me and connecting with me and allowing me to be on today, because I really enjoyed
Yes,
it. And
this
you're
has been
such a light.
amazing.
You're doing great work.
I absolutely love this show and I have loved being with you. So definitely this will not be our last connection, because I enjoyed you.
Sounds great.
And I definitely want to come see that homestead when you get finished.
Yes, ma'am. You've got it.
We actually bought some land here, like right when we moved, right after we moved here, we bought some land because we were like, that's what we want to do. I mean, not quite to that extent. I'm not interested in the, no. But I would like to have a garden, a garden and a hot tub, actually a spa pool,
There you go.
So, those are my affirmations that I say, because I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm sitting in my house right now.
Yep. Time to go cool off.
Yep. It's like, okay, this is what it is. And here is not really that hot. It's actually, I think, in the 70s or something like that.
Okay.
It's kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
But
That's awesome.
yeah, because my husband goes, well, at least we're not roasting like the rest of the country.
Very true. Very true. It's in the 90s here, so I will take them any day.
Oh my God, I can only imagine. So what part of Tennessee are you?
Nashville, Middle Tennessee.
Oh, okay. So you're on the outskirts?
I'm just below, smack in the middle of the state, but the lower side of Nashville is where I'm at.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, anyway, I have enjoyed this so much. This has been a blast. Woo! So is there anything that you are doing, like a program that you're filling or anything like that you want to share?
Stay tuned. Those things are coming soon.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, we'll hopefully be finishing a course for some of my clients soon that'll help them transition through the confidence piece and manifest their own careers. So fingers crossed and stay tuned on that piece. Yes.
All right. That's what's up. That is what I'm talking about. So we're going to go. But thank you so much for joining us on Straight Out of Savannah. Alli Arney, it's been my pleasure. I have had such a good time.
Likewise. Have a good one, Tammy.
Yes, ma'am.